Specialist Emily Trigger stood with Hellion Squadron's eclectically elite 6-person Prodigal Suns team. They were in the living room of the shabby, run-down, partially rotted apartment Sergeant Boyd had finally rented for them in Izmir, Turkey. All 6 operators stood in a half circle around the wobbly, crooked wooden chair in the middle of the room. An unconscious, middle-aged Turkish man, dressed in the full standard-issue uniform of a local Turkish police officer, sat on it. No one said a word. They'd stood here for 10 minutes after tying the man to the crooked wooden chair with handfuls of dead wiring Stryker had previously stripped from the walls to repurpose for something else. At the time, the knife-fingered operator hadn't any idea what he would use these wires for. Now they were all the team had to secure the lone survivor from among the 3 attackers who had attempted a break-in to get their hands on Emily no more than half an hour before. At least, she assumed that was what the men came here to do. Each one had headed for her after climbing the 4-story apartment building and emerging on the rooftop balcony outside the Prodigal Suns' half a living room. Each attacker had leveled a weapon at Emily. All of them had drawn their service pistols with the clear intent to fire, possibly maim, and most likely subdue the unit's only specialist. The one part of this otherwise ridiculous equation that made the least sense was why these 3 police officers had come to the Prodigal Suns' dismal apartment. That included why it had taken multiple thrown daggers, multiple fired rounds, and multiple blasts of Emily's new crackling yellow magic she still hadn't figured out how to control to take down all 3 assailants. Slightly less confusing, but no less important, was the question of who the hell had sent these men after her and the rest of the team. The Suns had been lying low as efficiently as possible during their indeterminate stay in Izmir. Both of these things were less freaky than trying to figure out how 3 grown men in full law enforcement uniforms with loaded handguns had climbed the building's exterior walls without any handholds or footholds. That still wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that the man tied to the wooden chair was the only one of the 3 who hadn't been repeatedly stabbed or shot, making him the only one who was still alive and potentially coherent enough to withstand a Prodigal Son's interrogation, assuming he ever woke up. "Well, this is a whole lot of useful, isn't it?" Stryker murmured as he folded his arms, moving casually but carefully, with the lifelong practice of ensuring his deadly sharp fingers didn't catch on any part of his long-sleeved civvy shirt or the flesh beneath it.